We'll jump in. This is being recorded, so people can watch at their leisure. And we apologize for the technical difficulties this morning. As you can imagine, I am not Katie Worthington, who I assume most of y'all know. She had her final day on Friday, but she has wished us well and is moving on to the west side of the county to Lakeland EDC, but has set us up very well. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Nick Plott. By day, I am the Government and Community Relations Representative for TECO out here in Polk County, but I'm also on the Chamber Board as well as chair of our Business Advocacy team and Government Affairs. So the way these calls typically work is it's got us at a little bit of a disadvantage today with Martin Luther King Jr. Day being yesterday. Typically, we'll listen to the Florida Chamber call and then get a nice little recap from them and bring some of those finer points over into our call for today. Well, since they didn't have their call yesterday, they're actually having their call right now. And some of y'all might be monitoring both calls, but appreciate y'all for jumping on this one. And next week, we'll have a little bit of a better battle rhythm, and we'll have the update from the Florida Chamber call, as well as all the other pertinent items for the Winter Haven business community. So we'll jump right in, and as Ms. Worthington was apt to do, she's got a great set of notes for us here. And I just want to welcome everyone to week 2 of the legislative session. For those of you joining us for the first time, thank you. During these weekly calls throughout legislative session, we aim to keep our membership apprised of potential legislation that could impact the business community and Winter Haven community in general. A few housekeeping items to start with. You are all automatically muted with your videos off when you join the call. If you'd like to ask a question at any time during this call, feel free to either unmute yourself to ask the question, or you can drop the question in our chat window. Anna, who is to my left and is doing much more work than I am at the moment, but is doing awesome. She'll be watching the window and she will let me know if there are any questions. Also, I may ask some of you on the call to give an update on your specific legislation that I'm sure you are watching as well. And that's it for page number 1. So again, we'll be pretty brief, and I definitely want to get into a little bit of discussion at the end, or if any of our members here have any pertinent items for us to act on. We went in depth over the Chamber's legislative priority statement last week. We will definitely not be going into great detail on it this week, but if you have any questions or need it sent over to you, we can definitely accommodate that. We'll get into a little bit of a recap of week 1 and the themes of the 2022 legislative session, and then we have a little bit of a federal update at the end, and just kind of how we're creating the secret sauce over here with some of our legislative tools. So if you want to flip to the next one. There's our beautiful and stunning legislative delegation, and they're doing the Lord's work up there in Tallahassee. Next slide, please. And again, that's what I was just mentioning with our statement. If you'd like a copy, we can get it to you. Next slide. And this is also, let's see, I actually have notes on this one. So we have this embedded into our Winter Haven Chamber website. It's all the bills we're tracking, ones we might not even get into in depth on this call today. But if you just want to know things we're just keeping at least a side eye on, you can go, is that up on the screen there? Yep, winterhavenchamber.com/2022 legislative priorities. You'll see all the bills that we're tracking. We have a really cool tool here on the back end called Bill Tracker 50 that we're super excited about. And us Politico nerds have had a lot of fun just kind of roaming around in. So I think this is an older slide, but this is one we popped up on there, just kind of give you what we're dealing with, breakdown of the House and the Senate, as well as the immense amount of bills that have already been filed. I'm sure Chad has great insight to all of them. So if you have any specific questions, we can direct those his way. Next slide, please. All right. The governor obviously gave his State of the State address this week, and I encourage anyone that would want to do so to go back and listen to that. But big ticket items in that is the push to end the Florida Standards Assessment Exam and would be then replaced by just progress monitoring. Another hot item, teacher and law enforcement bonuses, continuing to protect our natural resources and borders, and ask the legislature to pass data privacy legislation, which we'll get into more in depth when we get to more specific. $15 million for budget of the budget to be put into reserves, and calling for a $1 billion gas tax holiday. Next slide. And it is freezing up. There we go. All right. And some of the leadership priorities we're tracking, Senate President Wilton Simpson, investing in ports and infrastructure, water storage north of the Everglades, increased wages for state employees and law enforcement. Local governance issues, Senate Bill 620 allows businesses to recoup their losses if a government passes a regulation that leads to a 15% decrease in profitability. Senate Bill 280 requires the local governments to create a business impact statement that analyzes the impact of local ordinances before the ordinance is passed and delays enforcement of regulations once a lawsuit is filed. This week, Senate President Simpson removed committee reference, and both only have one committee hearing remaining. Speaker Sprowls and his priorities: desire to mitigate the risk portfolio of the state, including cybersecurity and threat of hurricanes, as priorities for this session. He also released a list of 5 priority bills addressing affordable housing, law enforcement, recruitment, abortion, critical race theory, and data privacy. Bills that have actually moved in the past week: COVID liability protection extension for healthcare organizations. The House and Senate both heard bills that would extend the COVID-19 liability protections for healthcare facilities and the workers. Unlike the business protections put in place for the rest of us that were in perpetuity, these will expire at the end of March without further action. The Senate plans to pass their version of the bill, Senate Bill 7014, that extends protections through June 1st, 2023, off the Senate floor as early as next week. The Senate bill on special order calendar for 119, which I believe is tomorrow. That is tomorrow. So, second up, managing local ordinance impact on businesses. This is preemption bill requiring cities to create business impact statements. This is in the Senate Rules Committee agenda for 120, which if the 19th is tomorrow, I believe that makes the 20th Wednesday. Nope, we lost today. That makes it Thursday. Find a calendar, Nick. Data privacy bill filed that allows for private cause of action. This is an interesting one. Legislation was filed once again, and unfortunately, because the Florida Chamber isn't too keen on this one, the House version, House Bill 9 by Representative Fiona McFarland, contains a private right of actions as a means of enforcement. Essentially, we wanted, I guess they wanted, obviously some, let's see, got it over here. So that goes into more detail on the next slide. We want to pop over there. So prevents burdensome regulation. Oh, that's the ordinances. There's one up here. So you'd be able to recover damages from local governments if an ordinance, but I think the sticking point there is that it was just going to get really cumbersome on the people being able to file nuisance lawsuits, and we're just going to really jam up the system. So that's why the Florida Chamber came out against that one. But as it stands, let's see, sorry, the thing's blocking them. Yeah, as I said, reference to Rules Committee removed now in the Senate Appropriations Committee, and it's on the agenda for 120. So, and we talked about the one on the left there. So yeah, we're good to go. All right, this is some of the stuff the Florida Chamber is monitoring for us, and I apologize, I believe this is up to date, but we'll go back and listen to the Florida Chamber call, the recording of it, and get it up to date for next week's call. But student assessments, again, we talked about that being a high priority, replaces the end of the year Florida statewide assessment with state standards aligned progress monitoring testing system to better support student growth and improvement throughout the year. Again, this is what passed Senate Education Committee 9-0, now an Appropriations Subcommittee. Next slide. Okay. Film, television, digital media project rebate program creates a targeted high wage production program to broaden the film, television, digital media industry in Florida. Creates high wage jobs and encourages the production of family-friendly movies and television. Passed Senate Commerce and Tourism Committee 9-1, now in the Senate Finance and Tax Committee. The House bill on the House side has not taken up action this week, but again, Florida Chamber supports this one. Moving forward, Florida Tourism Marketing reauthorizes Visit Florida, the state's tourism marketing arm, beyond October 1st, 2023, to provide certainty and allow Visit Florida to long-term plan and hire top talent. This is obviously on our sheet as well, our list of priorities for this session. Nothing on the Senate side. House Bill 489 on the Tourism and Infrastructure and Energy Subcommittee Energy agenda for 118. One of our own, Senator Danny Burgess, with COVID-19 liability protections and healthcare, extends the common sense COVID-19 liability protections expiring for healthcare facilities to continue to protect our healthcare heroes as the pandemic continues. Working through two on the Senate side, Senator Brandis saw no action this week, whereas Senator Burgess, it passed the Senate Rules Committee 11-5 and placed on special order calendar for 119-22. On the House side, Representative Burton, it has passed the House Health and Human Services Committee 15-5. Okay, and just a federal update, because obviously this has impact for a lot of our members. We did get a stay from the U.S. Supreme Court on the OSHA vaccinate or test emergency temporary standard. This means that the enforcement of the ETS is paused until the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals rules on the pending case before them on whether the OSHA exceeded its authority in issuing the rule. The U.S. Supreme Court also issued a ruling yesterday that allows the Center for Medicare and Medicaid to enforce its rule requiring vaccination of employees at facilities that receive Medicare or Medicaid funding. The CMS rule is already in effect in Florida, but has been stayed in half of the states by federal courts in the jurisdiction. So I know TICO, we're monitoring this one. I'm sure Legoland, Polk State, people with over that, I believe it was 100 employee threshold. This would have been quite impactful to them, but we have a stay for the moment, and we'll continue to monitor that as it progresses through the Sixth Circuit Court. Next slide. All right, that's pretty much it for our report out and readout, and I do want to commend the staff for their hard work and getting this up and running. Obviously, we're still working through some kinks as we're transitioning into our post-Katie time. I do want to open it up to Mr. Davis, if you wanted to give a report, and if anything, from Senator Stargill's office. And
yeah, sure.
You have the floor. Thank you, sir.
Great. Well, so this week is our second week. Things are starting to pick up a little bit. Last week felt a little bit slow, just because it was the first week of session, almost like, coming back to school. Everybody's just excited to be here. And also because of the holiday yesterday, it feels like there's a lot more activity going on this week as we push a lot of the committee meetings together. And the Senate will be convening for its first sitting tomorrow, and that will be everything on the special order calendar. Most notably, the Senate has completed their maps for the Senate districts and the congressional districts that will be on second reading tomorrow, and then voted on either probably on Thursday when they come back on Thursday. Now, that the interesting thing about the maps is kind of what we're all paying attention to right now. Over the weekend, really Sunday night to be exact, the governor's office filed a congressional map of their own. So that will probably be considered as the House continues. The way it works, the House sets up their House district map and the Senate sets up their Senate district map. and then both will pass the same congressional map and send it to the governor. And he actually has the power to veto the congressional map when it comes before him, which his attorney has reminded us when he dropped his map into the mix. So that's something to keep an eye on. It is a bit of a departure from what the Senate has come up with. I think the Senate maintains the current balance of makeup between Republicans and Democrats in Congress out of Florida. The governor's shifts that a little bit, and I'll let you look into that more on your own. So that's kind of the big news for the week. Otherwise, there's a lot of activity going on in the building today. Today, I'm seeing my button. Today's Walt Disney World Day at the Capitol.
I saw that, yeah.
50th. Yep, which is kind of exciting. Next week on Wednesday is Polk County Day. That's one we always look forward to, the delegation. So hope to see some of you up here for that. And and then I guess the other bit of news that's kind of hitting people around here, the coronavirus is really starting to spread. We've got, I think, 3 senators out today. Hasn't been officially released for what reasons, but the rumors are that they've tested positive. I know of at least 2 staffers and a lobbyist who have texted me over the weekend saying that they now have the virus. So it's moving pretty quickly throughout the Capitol building. Now everyone seems to have pretty mild symptoms, and they're all taking care of themselves and quarantining, but that could disrupt some things going on up here. I know there's a committee meeting, the Ethics and Elections Committee meeting in the Senate was canceled for today. I don't know why, but I could imagine if any of these folks who are sick are in the committee, it could affect how we hold our meetings. So that's basically it for my side of things. You know, we really work mostly on the budget within Senator Stargell's office, and that's going to be a little bit down the ways before we start, you know, gearing up for that. She's working with staff on things, but as far as when things really heat up on the budget, that'll be a few more weeks until we get into that. So otherwise, I want to thank y'all for what you do. This is very helpful. I think you do a great job of organizing everything that's going on and keeping everybody informed. It's hard to keep informed. It's hard for those of us who work in the process to keep up with what's going on. There's so many meetings happening simultaneously, and we have to go back and watch things after they happen just to see what happened. But this is, I think, very helpful, very useful for those who are, you know, back home trying to keep up with what's going on.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Chad, and absolutely appreciated the hard work you and Senator Stargell doing up in Tallahassee, and just can't thank you enough. And we'll try to keep these calls going the best we can. Obviously, this was Katie's baby. She knew the side of her job inside and out, and obviously had great connections up there. But feel free to give me any direction or any hot button items if they come up during the week. Feel free. I believe you have my email address. If not, we can get that out to you. And yeah, we definitely want to keep this conduit alive. And as issues arise, we'll take them head on. Dean, I see you from the city. Were you here to give any update from the city, or just monitoring the call? I apologize to put you on the spot.
No problem. No, I was just dialing in to hear what was going on. I don't have any update from the city. Okay,
no problem. I know Katrina's monitoring a few things, so I'm sure she'll give us an update if there are updates to be given. Does anyone else on the call have any questions or any updates or areas you'd like to see the chamber act or give guidance to? Okay. Well, seeing none, again, appreciate everyone that hopped on the call today. I definitely appreciate your tolerance, putting up with me and trying to stumble through my first attempt with this. We will definitely have a lot of the bugs worked out for next week, and we'll be in, again, a better battle rhythm with having at least a non-holiday day to plan, and having had the Florida Chamber call happen the previous day as opposed to day of. Yes, Arlene, I see your hand raised there.
And my apologies for chiming in late.
No problem. Good morning.
Good morning. Any updates or any concerns pertaining to the vaccination mandates? Any other information coming forth?
We're more or less just, Martin, you're talking about the federal mandates that had to stay?
Correct.
Yeah, we're monitoring that.
The battle between feds and the locals, the state mandates as well.
I don't personally have an update on that. We can definitely look into that and provide one and have one for the call. I know I can definitely get an update from some of our bigger employers in town. I know just personally, you know, that was going to be a tough putt for Tico. We have a ton of employees, and, you know, it was, you know, there's just obviously a lot of moving parts when you're trying to have, you know, 4,000 employees either vaccinated or testing twice a week. So we'll try to provide a more in-depth answer to that. And Chad, I don't know if you have any color there, if there's any. I know DeSantis is obviously quite against these mandates with the federal push. It seems like that's kind of where we're just going to stay at with this stalemate in the state.
Right. So far, the only thing I've seen has been statements from the governor, basically pushing back on the CMS rules, saying that, you know, we're not going to be, you know, bullied by the feds or something along those lines. So he seems to be digging into his position, which means the healthcare industry, they will have to make a decision whether they comply with the CMS rule or with the state, and the state would come with a fine per employee, when the CMS rule would come with possible loss of Medicaid and Medicare funding from the feds. So I don't know what's going to come of that. I usually hear updates from our partners at Baycare and Advent as far as what they're doing, if they're making any changes. I've not heard anything since the ruling came out. As of now, they are still complying with the state law, which allows for all those various exemptions. As for the OSHA rule, I don't think anything's changed. The state law is in place, and I think most businesses are complying with it since they don't have to comply with OSHA.
Thank you.
I appreciate that, Chad. Yeah, we'll reach out to our representatives at Baycare. If they can't be on the call, we'll at least try to provide their thoughts on it for the next week's call. Okay. Are there any more questions for the group here? Okay. Well, seeing none, I appreciate again everyone jumping on the call today, and we'll keep these going throughout session. And again, appreciate everyone, and feel free to reach out during the week if anything pops up. So, y'all have a great day.